Okay, so the recording is on. So let's get going. And again, guys and gals, I apologize for the time shift. This is my last meeting I have with this little program I'm doing with Westminster College with some marketing students who are working with me. So I have a meeting at 10 o'clock, so I have to skedaddle. So I have to be down at Sugar House at 10 o'clock. So anyway, so today, so we always start off with wins. Tell me some wins. Anybody take any listings? Anybody, have any good wins?
I had a file close Friday. Woo-hoo!
You had a what?
File close on Friday.
Yeah, that one had a little bit of issue too. That was a good one to get closed and behind you. So that's a good one. Anybody else like to share something? Okay, it's Monday morning.
Rob, I don't know.
Go ahead, Richard.
I was running a Facebook ad, started on Friday, and had a response to it this morning, which I'm going to follow up on. Somebody filled out the questionnaire, the landing page. So it's a prospect. So as a result of the ad that I started, so that's a win in my book. So we'll follow through and see what happens.
Well, it's nothing like running something and nothing happens, and then something happens like woohoo. Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity, excuse me. So, well, good job. So Richard's up at the university or at the hospital. His wife's having cataract surgery, so he just pops in and out. He mutes his phone. It's pretty noisy back there. So, anybody else want to share something?
Hey, I'll share something on social media that was an added benefit I didn't realize.
Okay.
So whenever I do my listings, I try to do a ton of ads on Facebook, whether it's just listed or open house or a video, whatever. I try to run a lot of ads, and I had a property that went under contract that they were kind of fighting on the price, even though I think they were getting a good price. And it was just so nice to go back and say, look, here's our numbers. Look at all the hits we've had. And if we've only had 10 showings based on all those hits, it's a price problem. And it's just kind of nice to have one more source of reference to kind of help people understand, sometimes it is a price problem,
Right. Well, and that's the thing. And that, we talked about in the past, what we talked about at September's meeting on shift, now that the market's starting to shift a little bit, we need to have systems in place to get price adjustments, right? That's simple. Because we all know if it's not sold, it's the price. So do you have a system? And I teach a system, and and I guess I should, maybe do that on a group call over the holidays. Do a bunch of calls, even if there's only a couple of people, and I'll just record them, and then you can listen to them later. But you have to have a system in place, and that system requires a communication with the seller on a timely manner. And then keep reminding them that there's only three things we control, and that is exposure, condition, price. And as you can see, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, by the statistics, we have a lot of exposure. Your home is on 83 different websites. And then the next thing is condition, unless you plan on adding any more features and benefits, are you? And you say that kind of with a doubt so that they go, well, no, we just want, I mean, sometimes they may, but if the carpet's nasty or something like that, maybe change the carpet. But when the house is old and dated, I mean, there's nowhere to start. Where do you start? Because where do you stop? That's the key. Your next thing you're gutting the place. And then the third is, so once you get them convinced that the only thing that we got to do now is the price. But it's all about a system. So anyway, any struggles that somebody'd like to share? Maybe we can walk through. How about learn? Did somebody learn anything over the last week since our last call? No, you guys are all geniuses, right? You didn't learn anything. So I'd like to make a suggestion. Make it a goal to learn something every day. So just make it a goal. Learn something every day. So this week we're going to talk about affirmations, right? Affirmations. So if you're taking notes, if you're driving, don't take notes. But there's a rule in affirmations called PPP, right? So the 3 P's. So an affirmation must be personal, it must be present, and it must be positive. So let's talk about that real quick. Personal, like personal, I, positive, we all get that. So your subconscious doesn't really deal with, it doesn't deal with the past, and it doesn't deal with the future. It only lives present. So when you're affirming, you have to affirm things in the present. So we do affirmations every day. Now, we don't always realize that's what we do. So let's talk about that. So, and jump in. So I'm going to ask you, so when I say the word, like almost do a word association, and you can even give me a sentence if you want. So, but if I say to you prospecting, what comes to mind? Anybody?
Keep contact with people.
Right, that's perfect. So that's good positive. I mean, so there's no fear for you that. So anybody that doesn't like to make phone calls, so help me. So this is really speaking to you. If you don't like to make phone calls, and when I say prospecting, what comes to mind? Come on. You tell me everybody in this call loves dialing for dollars?
Well, me personally, Rob, I prefer the one-on-one contact, whether I'm at the grocery store or the Home Depot, everywhere. And I've gotten to where I wear my badge virtually everywhere, and people see that badge and they, oh, you're real estate, and it prompts a conversation. Because I'm admittedly not good on cold calling.
There you go.
Just
gave it to me. Just gave me your affirmation. That's it. You're done. That's all. I don't need to hear anymore. You gave me your affirmation. So your affirmation that you affirm to yourself is, I'm not good on phone calls. That's what you said. Now, that's not a scientific fact. That's just something you've created. That's something you've made up. And now it's a story you tell yourself, and now you believe it. You've told yourself that story long enough to where it's now becoming true. So we have to rewrite your story. So it's just like programming a computer. We have to reprogram your mind, right? So I'm not good on the phone. That is personal, it's present, but it's negative, right? So we want to be personal, positive. We want to be personal, present, and positive, right? So we have to have the 3 P's. So you had a PPN, right, if you want. So and that's perfect, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Now, because I'm here to tell you, the other people on the phone were shaking their head yes when you said that, and you all know it. We can't see each other, but let's all raise our hand. So, and then I became good at the phone. Why? Because I trained myself. So, but here's the thing, though. So you have to rewrite your program. You have to reprogram your mind. And so let's talk about, so the best one, the most easiest one for me to use analogy-wise is weight loss, right? So we talked about it has to be personal, which is I, and you said that. You said I. And then what do you call it? And then present, you didn't say future, past, or anything like that. You just say, I am not good at it. So that means that's present. So let's talk about weight loss, right? So if you want to lose weight and you keep telling your mind, I have to lose weight, I have to lose weight, what are you really focused on? What you're focused on is the fact that you're overweight. You're not focusing on losing weight because, see, your subconscious doesn't understand that. The subconscious, when you said I got to lose weight, well, your subconscious, the only thing it heard was I'm overweight. So how do you reprogram your mind? So you have to reprogram your mind with affirmations that say, I eat right and I eat right and exercise every day. So, where that's positive, that's personal, and it's present, right? Now, whether you do that or not is not the point. We're reprogramming our mind so that we understand that. So your mind is just like a database of instances. And every time you say, I'm not good at something, so then you just add another instance to your subconscious programming. So that when something. So when I say that question, how do you feel about prospecting? Your mind goes, whoop, it goes down your database and starts searching your instances, and it finds all these instances that say I'm not good at it. So therefore, I'm not good at it. So we have to overwrite those. We have to, we have to reprogram our mind that says, so that when someone says, when someone says, what about prospecting? It goes down and searches your database, and your mind says, I love prospecting. I'm good at prospecting. People love hearing from me. So you have to do those. So what I would encourage you, whatever it is you're struggling with in whatever area of life or business, so you can take a couple personal things and write a couple affirmations for yourself, and then you can write a couple business affirmations, things like that. So where you just say, so I love prospecting. I prospect every day. So you got to reprogram your mind so that when someone says prospecting, that's it. Bang, that's what pops into your mind, because you've programmed yourself the other way around. Because the idea that all of us on this phone, we're all professional adults. To say that you can't make phone calls is silly. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, how is it that we can sit there and we can sell millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate, but then to say, but I'm not good on the phone? I mean, well, it just doesn't make any sense. And so when you give it that much thought, the idea is, why doesn't it make sense? Well, because it just doesn't. I mean, but how did we get there? Like I said, we got there because we programmed our mind to believe that. Does that make sense? Am I making sense to anybody here?
Absolutely.
So you can jump in. Yeah, thanks, Richard. But let's talk about that. So, I mean, what a great, that was so perfect, Richard. I couldn't have wrote the script any better than you chimed in and said that. So it's all about reprogramming. So, like, I have affirmations. So, that when, I was, when I'm the kind of fill-in partner. So when I do my affirmations, there they are right there on the screen. I just put them up on the screen if you can see the screen, unless you're on your mobile phone. I follow my prospecting schedule. I enjoy helping agents grow their business. I do 2 recruit presentations every week. I attract qualified agents every day. So I'm just programming my mind to do that. So and that's it. And so it's back to the weight loss analogy again, right? So if you program your mind over and over and over, if you tell yourself over and over every day, multiple times a day, that I eat right and exercise every day. I enjoy eating right. I enjoy eating healthy foods, and just go through a list of those, and you say them multiple times a day. I mean, it only takes seconds. So if you wrote 4 or 5 affirmations about health, if you wrote 4 or 5 affirmations about business, 4 or 5 affirmations maybe about prospecting, I mean, it literally takes seconds to do them. So, and the best way to do them is to, once you have your list of affirmations, so I encourage you to get in front of a mirror, and I want you to be enthusiastic about it, right? Not just recite them. I want you to be like, because we're reprogramming our mind, right? So like, I'll go through mine again. I follow my prospecting schedule. I enjoy helping agents grow their business. I do 2 recruiter presentations every week. I attract qualified agents every day. So if you say that with enthusiasm, every day, multiple times a day, eventually your brain will become reprogrammed. So the longer you've been telling yourself one thing, the longer it's going to take to reprogram. But it's important to just do that, right? I mean, this is how you become better at things. So eventually, back to the weight loss, I eat right and exercise every day. I enjoy eating healthy foods every day. I enjoy my exercise. I feel good when I exercise, whatever it is. So those are, they're personal, they're positive, and they're present, right? So eventually, you open up the refrigerator and you say, I only eat healthy food. So you start looking around for the healthy food in your refrigerator. You wake up, you start exercising. So, excuse me. So does that make sense? Is this helping anybody?
Hey, Rob, can I add to this?
Yes, sir.
This is Jesse, by the way.
Hi, Jesse.
So I was able to, before jumping into real estate, go out to a class in California that was presented around sales and the importance of sales. And there were a couple things that were stated. One was that the hardest door to open is your car door, which I agree 100%. And number two is if you wake up and tell yourself in the mirror, like you're saying every morning, that yours and this guy's philosophy was more powerful than what your heart was saying, because you're telling yourself and it's going directly to your brain because your ears are closer to your brain than your heart. So kind of a funny little way of looking at it, but I back that 100%.
Right. Good. So we need to create a new affirmation. I love opening my car door, right? I love picking up the phone. I love making phone calls. My SOI, my past clients are glad to hear from me. When was the last time you ever called somebody you knew and they were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you called. Don't call me again." I mean, that doesn't happen. Call somebody up and just say, "Hey, how's it going? It's Rob Aubrey. Hey, I listened to the great one on Mike Ferry tape this morning, a video this morning. He says, if you had somebody you hadn't talked to in quite some time, you call them up and you just say, "Hey, how's it going? I want to apologize." And they're like, "For what?" "Well, we closed on your house about 6 months ago, and I haven't kept in touch with you, so please accept my apology." And they're like, "Well, don't worry about it." Okay, great. Now once that's out of the way, so how, it's a lot easier to just call them up and apologize. So it's now you can carry the conversation into, by the way, who do you know? So the idea is, if you call them every day, yeah, they're going to get annoyed. But if you call once, a couple times a year, remember the once a quarter call is designed, the postcards we mail out are designed to be to keep you top of mind between your phone calls, right? They're not to replace phone calls. It is a supplement. Real estate, if you're going to make money, see the market's shifting. So the market's shifting. So you need to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Prospecting based, marketing enhanced. You got that? That's the key. It's got to be prospecting based. So as the market's shifting, and then when the market's a crazy seller's market and everybody and their brothers in the business, you almost have to be more there because, there's so many people you got to compete against. But as times change, you actually have less competition. And then, I got distracted, my phone rang. And then, you have more people, so as you call people, they're going to be more apt to hear from you. They're going to be glad to hear from you. So especially when you're professional. See, as a professional, and as the market shifts and people need to sell their home, then they're going to want a professional more than they did in the past. On the deep seller's market, that doesn't matter. You list your house with anybody, and it'll sell. So, but those days are ending right now, as you can tell. We're having agents that, we're seeing time on market, is increasing. So, so with that said, you got to bring professionalism. On our Facebook group today, I posted a couple things. One is I posted this document that Mike Ferry had, some kind of report. He calls it Back to Normal. We had these 12 items, but I actually copied and pasted the 12 items in a post on Facebook. But I also posted a video that he posted this morning that I get an email every month. Go sign up for Mike Ferry videos. They come in your email every Monday morning. Just watch his videos every Monday morning. Now, he has a YouTube channel, but the ones when you get them on Monday morning, they're not listed on the YouTube channel. But he has tons and tons and tons of videos on his YouTube channel about, being, having a good business. So I would encourage you to listen to those and use those to just add to what we're doing. So does that make sense? But let's get back to the affirmations. I appreciate Jesse jumping in there with that. So other affirmations are, but prospecting is going to be the biggest one. I'm here to tell you, though, if you're not willing to make calls to your SOI, just talk to them and say hi, keep reminding them you're in business, then you're going to have to spend a ton of money on marketing. You're going to have to either cold call for sale by owners and expireds, which is not a bad thing. Calling FSBOs and expireds are not a bad thing. So those are called immediates, right? So when I was prospecting every day, your SOI, you wanted to call them too, But the FSBOs and expireds were the first things we called because they were people immediately that had identified themselves that are selling their home. So we went after those first, and then we called our SOI. And then just started talking to him. I know a guy, I mean, he ran it off a 3-ring binder. He had, this big fat 3-ring binder, and he had them broken down into letters, and he had a page for each person, and he just sat down every day, and he opened up his binder, and he started making his calls. He put a paper clip where he left off, and the next day he just picked it up and started going again. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And he was closing about 40 deals a year, and that's all he did. That's all he did is every day called. He had a big fat database of, several hundred people. And he called them, and, he called FSBOs and expires too. But his primary business was SOI, and he was closing about 40 deals a year. No marketing budget. I mean, he just sat there and made phone calls. So, think about that, 40 deals a year. If you just do 24 deals a year, that's huge. You do 12 deals a year, it's huge, especially in the right price point. If you can do 12, if you get to 12 deals at the $400,000 to $500,000 price range, that's $6 million, roughly $180,000 in gross commission. That's where it's at. However, so the key again is you have to be willing to make phone calls. If you're not willing to make phone calls, then you have to really reevaluate. So if you're not willing to make phone calls, let's put it this way, you're going to have a large marketing budget. It's that simple. So, and my guess is most of you on the phone have more time than money. If you have more money than time, well, then you can spend the money. It's that simple. But what if you actually spent money on your SOI? Imagine that, spending money on your SOI. We tend to spend money on everything but our SOI. How about if we start spending money on our SOI and then making phone calls with them too? Imagine what would happen. If everybody how many people on this phone call that most of their business does not come from their SOI? Can anybody say that most of their business does not come from their SOI? Yet we spend our money on everything but our SOI. So you just got to work it. You hear me say this over and over and over and over again. However, like I said, this is going to be on my tombstone. Call your SOI. So anyway, any thoughts, questions, or concerns? No? So if anybody has any questions, so I guess Danae, good morning, Danae. Speaker's not on yet. There she is. Good morning, Danae. So anyway, so if you have any if you don't have any questions, or if you have any questions, let's get them out now. If not, I'm going to have to get going. So okay. So apparently no. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording. Let's see. Stop recording.